Hello and welcome back to another video where we're going to be playing Town to City again. We're sat looking over the crescent that we built out last episode in imitation sort of the Bath Royal crescent. But for today I would like to focus on something that we have just unlocked, which is our public service need. So this is a new need that we unlocked just as we upgraded our city the last episode, and there's a couple of buildings I would like to get placed down. So if we come into our research menu here, we can see that we have the possibility to unlock a couple of public service buildings. And we are fully stocked up on research points, so let's make the most of that. The two things I would like to get are this school and also this chapel. And I think both of these buildings are gonna give us so many opportunities for detailing. We may as well get something else while we're here because we can afford it, so I might just go for this extra clothes line. It's just gonna make our laundry plot a little bit better, so that can't hurt. And there we go, so let's get building. So I think I'd actually like to come back over to this part of town in order to get our school and chapel built. And I'm going to go ahead and place both buildings down so we can start getting a look at them and see where they might fit in. So here's our school. Let's go ahead and build that. Looks like that's going to want to be on relatively flat ground. And here is our chapel, which is a great building. I can't wait to build out a little churchyard around this with the graves we've got unlocked as well. So I think this is actually the front of the school and that was the playground behind it. I do want to build out a bit more of a playground with it as well, with the playground assets that we've got. While those were being built, we also got a new request, so let's go ahead and grab that. So we got a little request to set up a picnic area, which I'm sure we can try and build into one of the areas we've got here today. In fact, maybe it'd be good to build it on this slope where the housing might not look as good. Anyway, I'll pop this down here because I know we can move it later if we want to. And I would like to move some of these trees down to here, so that I can extend our road up along here. And I wonder if we could actually kind of place our picnic spot somewhere around here. Maybe I'll redraw that road slightly. And then I think it could be great to have the school kind of like looking out over that park, perhaps, a bit like this. Perhaps just like that. And then I can move the location of this little pin over to here. So then I think in front of the school we're going to want to have both a little playground and this little picnic area as well, which I suppose will form a kind of park. So let's get some of these pieces in. A picnic table, a sunshade, and a hedge arch. We can use one of these big autumn hedge arches, which look pretty good. For some reason the autumn hedge arch hasn't quite fulfilled that request, so why don't we put one of these in as well. Don't mind having more than one hedge arch around here. There we go, that has fulfilled the request. Then we can get a few trees in. And I think I would like to build a little path going through this park as well. And then in there we can pop the picnic tables and a little sunshade. And then to finish off, we just need to place a few flowers around. There we go. I think I also want to maybe paint the ground under here as well. Just a slightly brighter grass. Let's see what we get for completing that quest. Ooh, and we unlocked a picnic tablecloth. I love that. We have got one more request it seems, so I'm just going to check what it is before I move on. Okay, so the request is that this house wants a sea of beautiful flowers all the way around it. That's a pretty easy one that we can complete straight away, so why don't we go ahead and do that. There we go, nice easy one. Let's see what we get for completing that. And we got a picnic basket, lovely. So back to the task at hand. Let's go ahead and build a playground for this school, just out in front I think. So I built a little stone wall out for this playground, and maybe we want this ground to be a slightly different colour. Perhaps a kind of dirt coloured playground would be good here. And then we can go ahead and find our playground assets, which we've got just here, this wooden slide, and also this sand pit. And then why don't we also go ahead and place down a few of these new benches that we have unlocked. And seeing as we unlocked a picnic basket, we should go ahead and give them a couple of those as well. There we go, now I'd like a few planters around the place as well. a small tree in the corner. And then we mustn't forget lights. There we go, I think that's looking pretty good now. We can get a few employees into this school. We've already filled up all of our demand for the school, so it looks like we might be building a few more of those as we go along. And we're running a bit low on population, although they are both at 100% happiness, so I feel like we should pat ourselves on the back for that. But that is telling me we should maybe build a few more houses. I would like to build a few more of these townsfolk residences that are in the kind of farming vibe again, so let's perhaps build a couple up this hill. And then we could go for a couple of artisan houses as well, perhaps down this side. And then we can move a few families into these. This artisan house is wanting a bit more luxury, but I think, yeah, this chapel is going to provide it once we've connected it up, so perhaps we can focus on that next. I think perhaps building the chapel in this little gap here could be pretty good. We're going to be building out a graveyard around it. Quite like how it looks up on the hill there. Why don't we pop it there and then see if we can draw in a bit more of our road network around it. There we go, that looks good. Now, what kind of wall would we have around a chapel? Perhaps just a natural stone wall like this. We do need to remember to actually draw a path up to the church, so let's not forget about that. I think that looks quite good, so we can go back to drawing that wall out. And I want to add a little sign next to this church as well. This is like where you would look to get to know when the services were going to take place. Just like that. And then perhaps a couple of lamps leading up to it. Just like that. We can also get a few of our little wooden signposts in. I really love these items. And then I would like to get in a bunch of these tombstones. I'm going to set this to randomize and just place quite a few around. There we go, that's looking good. I'm realising we haven't painted the ground. I'm going to go ahead and see if there's something we might want to do to it. I think perhaps the dark grass could work well for this. And then I definitely want a few naturey items like some trees, flowers, bushes, that sort of thing. There we go, that looks pretty good. Let's see if we can get some people employed in here. We're actually going to need more people than we have available to us, so let's move a couple more people into these houses. And then we can get some employees in here. That is good. This residence is still missing one little bit of luxury. We're full of research points, so let's see if we can unlock one more thing. We can get pottery, so I think we should go ahead and grab that. That will provide one luxury point. And seeing as we've got the points, I'll go ahead and unlock third floor housing as well. I think we could maybe have some more artisan houses kind of surrounding this church. So I've just drawn out a couple more roads, so yeah, let's go ahead and place down some artisan houses, and I think we'll just go for these traditional artisan houses. And we can get a few people moved into these. I just think these could maybe be made slightly taller, at least perhaps these two over here. And it's time to upgrade our town again, so let's go ahead and do that. Nice, and we've expanded our research menu with that upgrade. And we've also got a new little request, so let's see what that is. Okay, we've been given a statue to place. I don't know if it's just me, but this isn't the best looking statue in the world. I'm not totally sold on the mint green, but sure, we can find a place for it. I think perhaps the statue could just come and sit in as part of our town square over here below the fountain. We're going to be adding another research centre over here, so it could be quite a good little focal point. Here is our statue. And oh, it's actually, I can place it in white, so that's good. So yeah, I'll just place it right in the middle like that. And then we need some seating and some lighting, which is easy enough. And I would also like to just add in a few flowers around it, I think. There we go, that one's fine. Nice, so that quest is completed. Let's perhaps move a few more families into these houses. And we've got yet another request. We're really going heavy on the requests this episode. Let's see what it is. And someone who lives in this house wants to be moved to a solitary location and then have some trees placed around the house. So let's see if we can seek that out. I think somewhere up on this hill could be quite good for a solitary location. Let's go ahead and build a house up there. Perhaps just like this. And see if this family would be okay moving there. I think it needs to be even a little bit more solitary, so let's move the building slightly. And I've actually just had a totally different idea, is that we could try and build this house somewhere up on one of these cliff tops. Like that. That would probably be quite easy to keep them solitary. Yeah, we shouldn't have too much trouble keeping houses out of that area. Let's make sure they do have a little road built up to them though. There we go, and then they just want a few more trees placed around it. There we go, I'm happy with how that one is looking, although they are not that happy to live there. This residence is in fact not connected to any shops. But when we build out the city around here, I think that should be fixed. And we got 250 money and 100 research points for that. And we are going to need a little bit more luxury over here to keep these houses happy. If we take a look at what they're missing, they're currently missing homewares items, so let's see if we can place a few of those down. And one thing that we did actually just unlock was this pottery. It only gives us one luxury point. And I actually think I might want to place that down here in this row of shops, just next to the warehouse, just because I think it kind of looks better over here. So I'm going to pop that down there. While I'm waiting for that to build, I think I could go and spend a few more research points, perhaps on this merry-go-round and Ferris wheel, and also these fun fur fences, and I'm sure we could do something fun with those next episode. So we can get some people employed in this pottery. And the demand for pottery is actually exceeding the production, so I think we could get away with building a second pottery building up in our new part of town. So why don't we build a bit of a high street, just sort of one row back from these houses, perhaps just there. And then we can go ahead and get another couple of people employed in this one. That has generated need for a warehouse, which we will need to fit in now. So why don't I also incorporate a warehouse into this high street? That could fit in just like that. And then we can get some people employed in there. There we go, and I think we could stand to have a couple more shops along this high street. I think the winery could fit in quite well just here. And get some people employed in there. And now I'd say it's time to decorate up these houses and businesses that we have placed down during the episode. There we go, and I think that is pretty good for the detailing that we want done for this episode. While we're all stocked up on research points again, I'm just going to go ahead and get this extra warehouse efficiency. And seeing as we just built out 2 potteries, I will also grab this upgrade to the pottery shop, which makes more high quality clay, basically just increases the luxury of the pottery. There we go, and now we can claw back a few workers from each of our warehouses. And that is probably where I'm going to leave this episode. This is a great little public service neighbourhood that we just built out this episode. Really love how we managed to make that school and chapel fit in with the environment, and also made a start on a bit of a new town square just behind it. I think mixing in the different types of housing just really helps the town look interesting as well, just by keeping it varied really. So I really hope you enjoyed this episode and can't wait to see you in the next one.